This is a gigantic week for New Comic Book Day. My list is so big. It's huge. It's gonna be so much fun, so make sure you guys are sticking around to the end of the video. But if you guys could do me a huge favor, I posted a review video last Friday of some bags and boards from a company called Bags Unlimited. I would really appreciate it if you guys check that video out and leave your feedback down in the comments below of that video on what you like about the video and what you think I could have done better. It hugely helps some other videos that I have coming in the future. All right, guys, let's not waste any more time because this video is gonna be banging. Let's go ahead and dive into today's video. What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Wednesday pull list, which is your hype video for New Comic Book Day, which is this week is April 17th of 2024. And guys, there is a total of 122 total books coming out on this Wednesday. 122. Now, not every single local comic book shop will have all of these books, but that is the total number of the comic books available that they could have ordered for you. Now, I am getting 20%. That's right. My pull list contains 20% of 122. Can you guys figure out what 20% of 122 is? Well, you could do that, or you can wait just a second and check out my pull list. Now, as you guys can see, my pull list is gigantic. It starts from one side of my ultra-wide monitor and goes all the way to the other, but you guys can't see what those books are, so let me go ahead and throw them up on screen right now. Guys, there's a total of 24 total books on my pull list. That's right, 24. I had so many books to read this weekend. Now let's go ahead and break down this list a little bit more. Guys, there is one new #1 book. That's it, one new #1. So that means I had to read 23 total books this weekend. There is 7 DC books, 8 Marvel books, and 9 independent titles on my pull list. Now, I gotta be honest with you guys, there is one book that I did not read, and that is Thor. I was 2 issues behind. I got halfway through issue number 8, and I ran out of time. I have to record this video now, so that way I have enough time to edit it and get it out to you guys on time. So, Thor will not be on the top 3 list, but let's be honest, I haven't been enjoying that book, and the half issue that I did read of issue number 8, I wasn't enjoying all that much. So, that's okay, but guys, we gotta keep this video moving because we have a lot to cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right to the next section, which is the chopping block. Now, sadly, there is one book that's technically going to be on the chopping block, but you might see it on my pull list moving forward because I'm still going to pick it up for the amazing covers. But guys, I'm talking about Penthouse Comics. Now, I did have some high hopes for this book. I really thought that they might try to pull in some really cool writers and tell some really interesting stories, but it took me 45 minutes to read the issue because there was 4 total stories in there, and I gotta tell you, none of them were all that interesting. There were some pretty good artists in there. Gilliam March was one of the first artists. He did the artwork for the first story. But other than that, the stories were kind of really lackluster and poorly written. So I'm probably not going to continue reading this book. That's why the book is on the chopping block. But some of the covers, the Tula Latte 1 in 25 for issue number 2 is too good to pass up. It is so freaking good. So I'm still going to pick this book up for covers because I am a cover lover. Guys, I love a really good cover. You know this, especially if you guys watch this channel. So I'll pick it up for the cover, but I'm most likely not going to continue reading the stories because they just really weren't that good. All right, guys, that is the chopping block this week. So let's go ahead and move over to something a little more positive and a little more exciting, which is my cover lover picks. All right, guys, there are some great covers coming out this week on New Comic Book Day. We got ratio books, we got open orders, we got a little bit of everything. So let's go ahead and dive into these covers. And first up is Wonder Woman issue number 8 with the cover D, which is the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Joshua Swaby. There is just something about this cover. She almost looks innocent in this pose. She's like tucking the hair behind her ear. It is so good. Joshua Sway, you are crushing it. Guys, next up is Ultimate Black Panther issue number 3 with the Ultimate Special variant done by Boss Logic. Just check out all the covers that he's done so far for this series. They are all so good. Now next up is Avengers Twilight issue number 5 with the variant cover done by Danielle Acuna, featuring this awesome new character of Hawkeye. She's a badass. I cannot wait to see what she's going to do in these next few issues, and I believe she's going to have a really big part in issue number 5 because she's on a lot of the covers. But guys, let's keep moving. Next up is Fall of the House of X issue number 4 with the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Muhammad Asar. I love this freaking cover. I love it so much. I've said it multiple times on this channel or in these videos. I love a cover when you get the superheroes just doing something simple, like drinking a freaking cup of coffee or cappuccino or a tea or whatever that is in her hand. I just love it. I love it so much, and this artwork is amazing. Now guys, next up is Helen of Windhorn issue number 2 with the cover C variant, which is the 1 in 10 ratio variant done by Greg Smallwood. This is amazing. This is a fantastic cover. I love it. Now guys, next up is Animal Pound issue number 3 with the cover D variant in the unlockable Virgin variant done by Julian Totino Tedesco. Tedesco freaking crushed this cover. This cover is fantastic. Okay, let's keep this party going. Next up is Giant Size Hulk issue number 1 with the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Muhammad Asar. Another Muhammad Asar cover. This one is really cool in my opinion. I really freaking like it. Now guys, next up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Untold Destiny of the Foot Clan issue number 2 with the 1 in 10 ratio variant done by Mateos Stantolcolo? No, I totally butchered that. I'm sorry, Mateos, but your cover is so freaking good. It features Bebop, Rocksteady, and the daughter of Shredder. I don't know what her name is off the top of my head, but that is a gorgeous cover. Now guys, the final cover that I want to show you guys is Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 2 with the 3rd printing variant done by Peach Momoko. If you guys are reading this book, you will know why this cover is so freaking cool. All right, guys. Those are my cover lover picks for this week. We can go ahead and move right over to the next section, which is not the new number 1 you guys have to be excited about, because honestly, the new number 1 on my pull list this week, I'm not really excited about, especially because it's just a continuation of the Thor run. I'm interested in it, but I'm not going to go ahead and ramble about it, and I can't really get behind it because I'm not really loving the Thor story. So we're going to continue right over to the top 3 books that I think you guys have to be picking up this week because the stories are so freaking good. All right, guys, sitting in the number 3 spot is Helen of Windhorn, issue number 2. Now, this is coming from the writer of Tom King, art by Bilquis Evely, colors by Matt Lopes, and letterer Clayton Cowles. Now, guys, this was a fantastic book. Yes, it was a typical Tom King book with lots of reading to do, but guys, this is a comic book. We're supposed to be reading these books. This book just took a little bit longer than your normal comic book. This took me about 20-25 minutes to get through. When your normal comic book, you know, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So it's a little bit longer, but the story was so good. The way that Tom King built up this character of Helen and like really got into her past of who she really is and grew her throughout the issue was absolutely fantastic. Also, the person that was in charge of her. So Helen of Windhorn is a hot mess. Her father was a writer and an alcoholic, and she is an alcoholic as well, and she's only 16 years old. And her grandfather, after his son passes, sends for her, and he hires this lady, and she goes and finds her. She's in like this bumble F town out in the middle of nowhere in jail because she was drinking and she got in trouble, and this girl gets her out of jail and brings her to the manor, and it's like this gigantic manor. It's huge, but Helen is still haunted by her demons, so she doesn't take anything seriously, and she's really struggling, and she keeps seeing monsters at night, and you're like, wait, monsters? And the person that was in charge of her is basically like, you know what, Helen, just sleep in my bed, it's okay, you're not really seeing monsters. And one night, Helen doesn't show up in her bed, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go look for her. And she goes looking for her, and then she sees one of the monsters, which is so freaking cool. Yeah, this book was absolutely fantastic. The writing was great. The art by Bilquis Evely was really fantastic. It really sold the story really well. And there's a hero at the end, which is an absolute badass. It was a ton of fun. And like I said, the world building by Tom King was out of this world good. It was so good. Guys, Helen of Windhorn, issue number 1 was fantastic. And I highly suggest you guys pick up issues number 1 and 2 if you haven't put them on your pull list just yet. All right, guys, that was the number 3 book. Let's go ahead and find out what the number 2 is. Alright guys, the book that's in the number 2 spot is a Marvel book, and I didn't have high hopes for this book at all. I put it on the list because I wanted to try more Spider books, because I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I just love the Spider characters, and I want a good book. We got Ultimate Spider-Man, that book is so freaking good, and I am enjoying Miles Morales. So I was like, you know what, let me give this spectacular Spider-Man a shot, and I'm so glad I did because this book was a ton of fun. Now this is coming from the writer of Greg Weisman, art by Humberto Ramos, which is so freaking good, inker Victor Olazaba, colorist Edgar Delgado, and letterer Joe Cameron Magana. I'm totally butchering all those names, but I want to get better at sharing the full creative team behind these books that bring these books to life for us. Now this book was so much fun. It was a ton of fun. I think my friend over at Chris at Lost in Comics would probably call this like a palate cleanser book because it was not serious at all. You got Miles Morales and Peter Parker. They agree at the beginning of the book to meet up once a week on Wednesdays to do human things. And I was like, that's so freaking cool, because I love when my superheroes do human things. And they met up at this cafe, and obviously stuff starts going crazy. They gotta put on their spider suits, and they gotta fight some villains, and it was just so much fun. The writing by Greg Weisman was way better than I thought it was going to be. And if you're just looking for an action-packed book full of spider humor, because there were so many quips and jokes throughout the whole entire book, but actually has a story in there, this is the book for you. I'm not doing a good job of explaining the story, and I really don't want to. I want you guys to go down and pick this book up because it was a ton of fun. If you want a really fun spider book, this is probably one you want to check out. At least give the first few issues a shot. And the art by Humberto Ramos is like so good. So good. Humberto Ramos is like one of my favorite Spider-Man artists, and he's so good. And he's going to be on this book for at least a little while, so I'm going to enjoy it as long as I can. Ton of fun. Now, the variant covers for this book aren't really very good, in my opinion. I totally forgot to talk about the variant covers for Hello to Windhorn, but I really just like that cover C, which is the 1 in 10. That one is so good. But yeah, the Spectacular Spider-Man variant covers aren't doing it for me at all, so I'm just going to be picking up the cover A, which is done by Humberto Ramos, and it is so, so good. All right, guys, that is the number 2 book. Let's go ahead and find out what my number 1 book coming out this week is, because it is a banger. Alright guys, the book that's sitting in the number 1 spot is a book that's been on this list before. I want to say many times, but this is volume 3, the final volume of this series. We had 2 volumes before, both 6-issue miniseries, and they were so good. So good. And I'm going to tell you guys, you have to pick up all these books. Pick up the first 2 volumes in trades and then pick up this, because 1, 2, and 3 have already come out and 4 is coming out this week. And guys, I'm talking about The Weatherman issue number 4. This is coming from the writer of Jody LaHoppe and has art by Nathan Fox. They don't put who the letterer or colorist is on it. I probably should have opened up the book and checked on the guts, but online I can't find that information, and I'm running out of time to get this video recorded, so I'm just going to keep moving forward. But that is the writer and artist. But guys, this book is so good. So good. Issue number 3, we have a character that has fallen in love with the Weatherman, the person who this book revolves around. And it's so good because this is set off so far into the future, like way into the future. And we travel from planet to planet, and Earth is a hellhole. There has been a virus that's been created that can wipe out the whole entire human civilization. And there are some people who want to do that. They want to wipe out humans from the universe because they think we're a plague. And Nathan was a part of this. But you find out that he was trying to stop the plague. But then as he was trying to do that, he accidentally released it. And after doing that, he couldn't deal with the fact that he was part of a gigantic, like, genocide on Earth. And I don't want to ruin it, but someone very close to him dies in that. And he couldn't deal with that anymore. So he had his mind kind of wiped and then replaced with this character of the Weatherman. And he tries to live his life like that. But then, obviously, people try to find them because he has information that they need where the final piece of this plague or this virus is held. And so they find him, they reboot him, and that's where we are. And there was this character who was first sent to kill Nathan, but then they use him, and then now she feels guilty that she used him, and now she's out there just trying to find him and, like, you know, do right by him. And that was all about issue number 3. That character trying to do right, and it was written so well. The artwork is fantastic. There's big, fantastical action. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. If you like sci-fi and like, not aliens because it's really just dealing with humans, but like just crazy stuff, this book is for you. The art by Nathan Fox is so good. It is fantastic. And there's no variant covers. It's just cover A. I don't think a lot of people are picking this book up when they really, really should. You could probably just dive into volume 3 and enjoy it for what it is, because there was a large gap between volume 2 and volume 3. But I just dove right in and the story just clicked back in and it's so good. It really is so good. The colors are so great. A lot of the side characters that you don't see a lot, like the girl on the cover of cover A is the president, and she's a badass, an absolute badass. As you can see, she's got like brass knuckles on and she's like, that says Prez, and she's obviously beating the crap out of someone, which is so cool. Yeah, this story is fantastic. I want more people to read it. Pick it up. That's the #1 book this week. It was better than Avengers Twilight. It was better than so many books, even though Avengers Twilight was pretty good. But we're going to get to that in just a second in the not top 3. I got to stop babbling because I got to get going. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive over to the next section, which is the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. Alright guys, the not top 3 is the rest of the books that are on my pull list that did not make the top 3 list and is not a new #1. So that leaves 20 books to cover. So I'm going to go as quickly as possible, otherwise this video is going to be like 40 minutes long. So first up is Animal Pound. Issue #3 comes out this week. I read issue #2 yesterday and it took a while to read. It is a classic Tom King book. It's super long and I gotta tell you, I'm not loving this series all that much. I'm going to finish it because I think it's only going to be like a 6-issue mini. It's interesting, but it's so drawn out in my opinion. Next up, Avengers Twilight, issue #5. This book probably should have been on the top 3 list. It is such a good series. What if tale in the Marvel Universe, set in the future. Old man Steve Rogers, so good. Chip Zdarsky, Daniel Acuna, read this book. Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue #26. Issue #25 was not very good. We got a whole fill-in issue at the very beginning of the book and then a few pages that are leading into this issue #26. I didn't love that because I felt like I wasted a whole bunch of time reading that fill-in, and then we get the actual story that we wanted at the end. Didn't love that, but this whole series as a whole is fantastic. Next up, Batman Off-World, issue #4. Jason Aaron, Doug Mahnke, Batman on his first interstellar travels. A lot of fun. Doug Mahnke's art is so good. Now next up is Black Widow and Hawkeye, issue #2. What I don't like about this is it's only going to be a short little mini-series, and I love these two characters of Black Widow and Hawkeye together. They're great together. The story was great. It really was. I believe this is Stephanie Phillips, and it was just a ton of fun. And I'm just sad that it's going to be a short series. Next up, Cobra Commander, issue #4. Fun book, guys. If you're not reading Cobra Commander, Duke, and the Energon, or no, I should say, sorry, Transformers, and yeah, you gotta be reading all these books within the Energon universe. They're all just so fun. Oh yeah, and Void Rivals, that's the other one. So good, so good. Just read the book. Next up is Ghost Rider Final Vengeance, issue #2. I didn't love this. I was hoping it was gonna be more interesting, but the whole first issue was about the Spirit of Vengeance trying to find its next host and telling you why certain hosts didn't like work for it, and I don't know. I didn't love it. But I am picking up the next few issues, so let's see how this is going to go. I like Ghost Rider as a character in the Spirit of Vengeance, and the Spirit of Vengeance is going into the character of the Hood, which I think is an underrated character. I think that character could be really cool if done right, so maybe this is going to be a cool turn for this character. Next up, Green Lantern War Journal, issue #8. Solid freaking series. I love Jon Stewart as a character, and I'm just excited to see where this book is going to go, and this whole Revenant Queen evilness. She's such a crazy evil villain. I really like this. Next up, Lotus Land, issue #6. I believe this is going to be the final issue of this series. Darcy Van Polgeest, such a great writer. The artwork is really good. It's a solid futuristic book. Check it out. All right, guys, next up is Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue #19. This is the issue after the 300th issue, and #18 was so long. It took me so long to read, but it was fantastic. It was such a good book. Cody Ziegler really bringing his story together, and I highly suggest you check out this book because it's a lot of fun. Next up is Nightwing, issue #113. I am not loving this story anymore. I gotta be honest with you guys, I really have high hopes for Tom Taylor really bringing this story together and finishing it with a bang, but issue #112 wasn't very good, and I don't know. I'm gonna finish out the run because I started it. I loved it at the beginning, and maybe Tom Taylor can really bring it all together. Did I say Tom King a second ago? Tom Taylor is the writer on Nightwing, and I'm hoping he can wrap the story up with a bang. Next up is Penthouse, issue number 2. Like I already told you guys, I'm only going to be collecting this as covers because I don't like the stories all that much. After that is Roxxon Presents Thor, issue number 1. I'm not loving Thor, but it's on my pull list because I wanted to see what this character is. So I'm going to read the 2 issues I'm behind, 8 and 9, so I can read this one and be all caught up. But I'm just not loving the Thor run right now. Next up, Sam and Twitch Case Files, issue number 2. The first issue was great. Really fun story. This is written by Todd McFarlane. It has art by Simon Grodinski. Simon Grodinski's art was great. The one thing I didn't like about it was that they didn't use word bubbles. All the text that is normally within a word bubble was just like plastered on the page. Some of it was a little hard to read. I didn't love that, but they made the choice for a reason. Hopefully it's going to pay off in the next few issues. But artwork is great. Story was interesting. If you like the characters of Sam and Twitch within the Spawn universe, check this book out. Next up, Something Epic, issue number 9. Issue number 8 was an interesting story. We get introduced into a new epic who is a person who can create and see creations, like things that they read in books, things that they draw on papers. They become real life beings within their world. And it's really cool, and it was really interesting meeting a different epic that was not in the first arc of the book. And I believe these 2 epics are going to come together, and they're going to either help each other or something. I don't know. It was a really interesting turn in this story, and I love this book by Simon Grodinski. He's doing the writing and the art. Next up, Spawn 352. I read 351, just diving right in. It was good. It was actually really good. I'm glad I'm giving these Spawn books a chance again because this was a really fun book. All the agents from Heaven and Hell have lost their powers, and now vampires are attacking these beings who used to have powers, who don't have powers anymore. And that's an interesting take. I really like it. Now, guys, next up is Spider-Boy issue number 6. I know I put this book on the chopping block before, but I liked issue number 5. It was actually a pretty good read. Wasn't great, wasn't fantastic, nowhere near the top 3, but it was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm going to continue picking this up. I know, I switched my mind. I can do that. I'm a human. Next up is Superman issue number 13. One of my favorite Superman books. This is so good. Joshua Williamson is on the writing, and I loved how they wrapped up the story of Graf and, I forgot the other character's name, but such a great way to wrap that story up. And then now we're leading into the whole, I think, Lobos Brainiac stuff. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Next up, Titans issue number 10. I don't like it still. I don't know why I'm still pulling this book. I'm still reading this book. I don't love it. Raven, this whole Raven has been trapped inside the crystal, and the bad version of herself is taking control. I feel that's happened so many times, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to continue reading it until I guess I want to cut money out of my budget, so that way I can save some money. Next up is Ultimate Black Panther issue number 3. Issue number 2 is good. I really liked issue number 2. I like where this whole Ultimate Universe is going. I read Ultimate X-Men issue number 1 last week, and that was okay. This is definitely better than Ultimate X-Men. I would rate them Ultimate Spider-Man being the best, Ultimate Black Panther next, and Ultimate X-Men after that. So hopefully the Ultimates can fit in above one of those because I really like team books. They're so much fun. But we'll see. We'll see. Ultimate Universe is definitely a pickup in my opinion. And the last book is Wonder Woman issue number 8. Issue number 7 was a fill-in issue, but it was so fun. Written by Tom King, art by Gilliam March. Superman and Wonder Woman actually went to a mall. It's the largest mall in the universe, and they were trying to find a present for Bruce, and they were just, I don't know, it was awesome. They were just shopping in this crazy, crazy mall. Ton of fun. I told you guys multiple times in this video right now that I like seeing superheroes do normal things, and seeing Batman and seeing Superman and Wonder Woman shop for a gift for Bruce was fantastic. Great issue. But in issue number 8, we're going back to Wonder Woman's normal world where she's dealing with all that crisis. Alright guys, that is the not top 3, but the books you got at 3. Sorry about the train noise, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Alright guys, we are at the end of today's video, and if you guys have made it from the beginning all the way to the end, because I know that not top 3 was a long section, I just gotta thank every single one of you and let you guys know, you guys are legends. You guys truly are the supporters of this channel, and I thank you guys so much. Now, if you guys just watched that video and you guys enjoy comic book content, but you guys are not subscribed, I just gotta say to you, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notifications, and smash that like button. All right, guys, we're gonna cut up close and find out who won last week's giveaway. All right, guys, you know how we do this. We have to find last week's video, which is this one right here. We're gonna go ahead and click on it, and then we're gonna hit pause. And then we're gonna go ahead and copy and paste the URL into this website, and then we're gonna hit the fetch button. But not anything goes, oh no, we're gonna hit a keyword filter, and that keyword filter is always hashtag I love comic books. And then we hit continue and see how many people left that comment. Holy guacamole, 75 comments had the hashtag I love comic books. That is definitely an all-time high. That is amazing. That means more of you guys are engaging with the content, and that is exactly what I want. So let's go ahead and pick a winner in 3, 2, 1, and the winner is B. Sam J. Congratulations! And you left the hashtag looking forward to Transformers in the Uncanny Valley. Thanks, Bruce. Rock on. No, B. Sam J. You rock on. Congratulations, B. Same J. You won this week's giveaway, or I should say last week's giveaway. Now, what I need you to do is to go over to Instagram and slide into our DMs and give us your address, and I will get your winnings shipped out to you in 2 to 3 weeks. I did just get my box of Gemini mailers in the mail last week, so I have 2 weeks to ship out, and then also the one from this week, so that's going to be a total of 3 weeks. But B. Same J, make sure you're going over to Instagram and giving us your address. Now, if you guys want to enter next week's giveaway, this is what you have to do. Number 1, you need to live in the United States of America. Number 2, you need to be subscribed to the channel. Number 3, you need to leave a comment on this video right here, and it needs to have the hashtag. So the number 4 thing is it needs to have the hashtag I love comic books, and that's everything, guys. That is today's video. I hope you guys have a fantastic new comic book day this week on April 17th of 2024. Get all the books you want, all the covers you want. I hope it's fantastic. All right, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.